Don't you worry, the clip's about to begin, but don't forget to subscribe. Or else, don't make me turn this website around.
Josh from Florida, you're on with Johnny and Matt. Welcome to the Hangout.
Hey, Josh.
Yes, I'm one of the species of the Florida men.
Yes, I've seen news articles about you.
Yeah,
it's very crazy when it's like cold one day, and then like the middle of the day it's like sunny, hot. It's crazy down here in Florida. My question is, as an atheist, huh?
Sorry, I was just going to jump in, Josh, and say my girlfriend lives in Florida, but I did see a good story that started with Florida Man the other day, where a Florida man rescued a puppy from a gator's mouth, and so there are some good Florida men. We'll hope you're one of them. How can we help?
Yep.
My question is, since you guys, so your definition of atheism is like a lack of belief, right?
Well, atheism is the position of not believing that a God exists. It's usually divided into weak and strong or soft and hard, where...
Yeah, but my question is like specifically to you.
I'm answering you. You asked me a question. I'm literally answering you.
Slow your roll,
and you
Josh.
interrupted to tell me.
Okay.
So when I say atheist, I merely mean anyone not convinced that a God exists. That includes, by the way, people who are convinced that gods don't exist. So anyone who's not convinced that a God exists, I include as an atheist in the non-theist or lack-theist as you do. This isn't just for you, Josh. I'm trying to give information to people who may not know who are watching. So continue.
So as a lack-theist or an atheist, are you predisposed to assume and also accept the general morality around your regional location? If so, why do you still accept it?
No, I accept moral positions that I agree with, and I don't accept moral positions I don't agree with. There are plenty of moral positions surrounding me that I absolutely despise. I don't accept stereotypical Christian positions on LGBTQ or abortion or countless other things. So I don't just accept the morality around me. I have lectured extensively on secular morality, secular moral systems, and spent more time thinking about it, about what I actually believe and what my positions are and why, than probably anybody who's sat in a church for the last 50 years.
Okay. So what my question is trying to pinpoint is, are you like, in a sense, automatically predisposed to assume that like giving is a good virtual, is a good moral, a virtual, my mind is going crazy. It's like giving or being charitable to someone is a virtue. Are you predisposed?
I just answered this, that I am not predisposed to anything. Morality is a conclusion, not a starting point.
So you're saying that morality is a conclusion and not a starting point?
Correct. You're asking me, am I holding moral positions because I'm predisposed to them because I'm culturally surrounded by them? And my answer the first time was no, and my answer the second time was no.
So the way you get to certain moral positions and to figure it out, how do you do that? How do you determine what is moral? Not in a sense for you, but like, well, yeah, for you, subjectively.
Okay, so for me, I have a set of base positions that I use, and then I evaluate the consequences of an action with respect to the goal of increasing well-being for people.
So is that an objective fact about reality, or is that just a subjective
are you reading from a script? Because it's starting to sound like you're reading from a script. You literally just asked me,
I'm not reading.
How do I go about evaluating moral things? If I'm going about evaluating moral things, I'm not making a claim that there's some absolute universal imperative. Do I believe it's the foundation is ultimately subjective, the evaluation is ultimately objective. None of it is absolute, and the universe doesn't care or require or expect any sort of moral behavior. Morality is assessments that we make. We take a look at an action and we say that action, within the framework of morality, of what we care about morality, was good or bad. That's it.
And that's made manifest in the world. When you look at different cultures and different individuals, some people come to different conclusions, and you may disagree with your own cultural perspective. I exist in a world where people have one opinion, and I might disagree. And yet I might be forced to comply with that moral opinion because it's enshrined in law. And I might volunteer or donate money to change that law, or I might choose to break that law. But we obviously live in a world of a plurality of morality based upon different foundations.
And people can be wrong.
Okay. Okay, thanks
And Josh,
for answering.
From an outline, if you prepared your questions, I think whenever you call Matt Dillahunty, you're going to want to think it through. So there's nothing wrong with referring to an outline.
Well,
if you did.
My objection to people using a script is, and the reason why it sounded like perhaps Josh was, and not just because somebody in chat said he was, is I answered the question and then I was immediately asked the question again in a different form, which suggested that Josh wasn't actually listening to the answer. So where can we go from here, Josh? What else do we need to address?
No, that's it. I just wanted to hear your answer on it.
Okay.
So your answer
to
my question.
I'm sorry, the answer is what?
I now know that your answer is no to my question.
Okay. So, but you don't want to talk about how you determine moral questions? How do you determine moral questions?
Yeah. How I determine moral questions are based on my own set of standards, and they're not necessarily inclined on necessarily well-being, because well-being can have a very subjective definition to it. So one definition of well-being could be actually,
So
it might be well-being.
I'm asking, hang on. I want to know how you solve that problem, Josh, because for years I've been lecturing about secular morality and its superiority over every other option for years. And I keep asking the same questions. And to date, not one person who's advocated for some other moral system has been able to solve the problem that they complain about. So you just said that your position is more objective. How so?
How so? Because it's not grounded in a sense of a temporal mind. It's more grounded in an eternal mind.
Okay, but now that, and I apologize, that sounds really strange to me, because we have no evidence of an eternal mind. So why would you ground morality on an eternal mind? Why would you ground morality on a mind at all?
Why would I ground morality in a mind at all? Because, as you said before, it makes it objective. Because
no, Josh, I didn't say that. No, Josh, I'm objecting to basing it on a mind at all. Never heard me say that.
What's your objection to it?
Well, your claim is that my position is based on a subjective mind, and I want to know what the solution to that is.
If we base a morality on an objective mind.
Fine. First of all, if you can demonstrate an objective mind that you're going to base it on, that would be cool.
Okay.
So what's the objective mind that you're going to base it on?
I would object it. I would not object it. I would base it on a mind that is transcendent upon us. So
I'm not aware of any such mind, and I don't have any access to what such a mind would have to think or say about morality. So I answered your questions. I'm trying to get you to answer this. What is it that you're appealing to as a foundation for morality specifically?
I said a transcendent mind.
That's not specific. A transcendent mind. I'm not aware of any transcendent mind at all, anywhere, ever. I also don't know how a transcendent mind would serve as a good foundation of morality. But when I say, what specifically are you basing it on? And you just say a transcendent mind, you haven't added anything.
Nor have you explained how you have access to what this transcendent mind thinks or values.
Let's pick an issue. should two male human beings be allowed to love each other and marry?
It would depend in the terms of situation. If we're going and we're evaluating things by law, sure. According to which law is legal right now, yes, it would be okay.
No, Josh, I'm trying to help you. I really am. We're not talking about the law. I'm not interested in this discussion at all with respect to the law. We are talking about morality. Is it morally acceptable under your model for Johnny and I to have sex and get married?
This is a T-ball pitch.
Well, that would be cheating on your girlfriend, but it would depend on what that transcendent mind would approve.
You don't know whether or not my girlfriend is fine with it. So let's try and stop dodging and answer the question that was asked.
She might be a goer. Nudge, nudge.
Under
wink, wink.
your moral
Say no
system,
more.
is it morally acceptable for Johnny and I to have sex and get married?
That would be up to the transcendent mind. That's what I'm saying. Like under that framework, it wouldn't be up to me.
Josh, I don't know why I have callers all the time who refuse to answer the question. I said, under your moral system, is it morally acceptable for Johnny and I to have sex and get married?
Under my Christian Judeo values?
I don't care what you want to call it, Josh. Why are you dodging? Do you think that it is morally allowable for Johnny and I to have sex and get married? Is that moral in your view? I don't care what it's based on. I don't care what label you put on it. Is it moral in your view?
No.
Good. Why the fuck didn't you just say that right off the bat? Now, please explain to me why you think that is immoral.
If a transcendent mind prescribes something over its creation and it has it whatever way it wants to, then it's in their prerogative that they have the ability and the right to, because they're sovereign over their creation. So they can prescribe laws and things over their creation.
Josh, what you're describing is might makes right, and you are not demonstrating that there is any transcendent mind that has that right or that might. So you now, do you know what God thinks about me and Johnny having sex and getting married?
What do I know?
Do you know? All right, just listen. Do you, Josh, know what the actual God that you think exists thinks about me and Johnny having sex and getting married?
Yes.
How do you know what God thinks?
Because it has been related towards humans.
Because it has been, so literally you cannot answer in a sensible sentence.
It's been revealed to people.
How do you, Josh, know what God thinks?
I answered it by saying that it's been revealed to humans, so we would know what God would like and dislike if it has been revealed to us.
Prove that it has been revealed to human beings what God thinks about morality, and then when you're done, if you're actually able to prove that it was revealed to humans what God thinks, prove why I should give a fuck what God thinks.
Well, I actually explained why you should care. Actually, previously, so I already answered that. The first one, if I did, I said if a transcendent mind is sovereign over his creation, then he has legitimate right over the and he has the prerogative.
Josh, if is doing a lot of work.
Hypotheticals here because you don't believe in any God.
You actually believe that there's a God. That's not fucking hypothetical. Your if is doing a lot of heavy lifting. Now demonstrate something.
Demonstrate and what do you mean by demonstrate? I need you to define these terms so we don't really talk past each other.
Demonstrate means prove that what you're saying is true and reasonable.
And what would you accept as true and reasonable?
I don't know. It's not my job to figure out what the standard of evidence is.
If you don't know what true and reasonable is, how could I provide what is true and reasonable?
Josh,
why don't you try?
Hang on, everybody shut up. Josh, did I say that I didn't know what true and reasonable was?
You said, I don't know. I said, how do you
I said I don't know what evidence you would need to present. Josh, you're either going to answer the question that I asked you or you are going away. Did I say that I don't know what true and reasonable was?
No, you didn't tell me that.
Then why did you accuse me of saying that which I did not say?
I didn't hear the last part of your sentence.
That's a lie. Goodbye. You don't accuse me of saying something I didn't say as a dodge to avoid taking responsibility for something. And then when called out on it, say, well, I didn't hear the end of your sentence. You, sir, are a liar, which I find to be immoral because it is against the well-being of thinking creatures. And I don't have to make an appeal to a transcendent God revealing itself to anybody. You and I actually agree on that. And you currently feel bad that you're a liar. So
consider the banana. I'm all right. I'm
sorry.
I like the big if. So no, I accept your apology. No, it's true. The big if. It's always these ifs. If this, then that. Okay, cool. Give me. I don't agree with that, but give me proof of your if.
Yeah.
Right.
The other thing is, he's wrong, and it would have been so nice to actually get to it because. His thing is, if there is a transcendent mind that has revealed its thoughts about morality, that is somehow binding and governing. That's not true. Mm-hmm. Just like if the king tells me what he thinks the law should be, that doesn't mean that we have to agree with it. It doesn't mean there's some categorical imperative in the universe. So there could be a God who exists, and he could think that it's wholly immoral for you and me to have sex and get married. And that doesn't mean that that's the right answer on morality. But Josh just went and jumped into might makes right. Oh, wait, I got to go to chat and shut somebody else up for telling me that I shouldn't tell people to shut up. There, take a break, John. There's a reason why I do that. And it's because there's a time delay on the internet and there's 3 people talking and I was right at the verge of getting this point across and we had deflected that conversation about 5 different times between us. And somebody, unfortunately, has to step in and steer from time to time and say, hang on. So if you thought shut up was just a little bit too rude, well, shut up about it. But I already apologized to John.
Thank you for white knighting me. Matt Dillahunty's not pushing Johnny around too hard. But I appreciate it. Thank you so much. And poor Josh too. I'm sure he appreciates it. You know, Matt, this comes down to this argument. Like if I have children, therefore, if they displease me, I can do whatever I want to punish them. I don't have any children, but I have a dog. I've talked a lot about Dr. Vinny Boombats, my dog. I love him. I buy him food. I buy him treats. I give him a place to stay. He has the bed. He's got the super bed. He's got the super duper bed, which is many layers of beds. And if he displeases me, am I not a moral monster if I torture him until he obeys my every command? He's my charge. So if God sustains me, does that mean God has this ability to dictate what I do? And not only just punish me in some small Book of Job kind of way, give me boils or take my family away, but to toss me in the clink and burn and torture me for all of fucking eternity? It doesn't make any sense. To quote a defendant that I had once, I'm sorry, a plaintiff I had once, that just don't make basis.
It's so funny because Andrew the other day was asked, Scott Clifton the other day asked somebody what based meant because he just kept hearing based over and over. It was sorting it out.
Based.
So that just don't make basis.
Hey, thanks for checking out this clip for The Line. While you're here, hit that like button, hit subscribe, turn on notifications, and then share this with that bitter uncle of yours who loves talking about the good old days.